welcome to the American Sports Connection. I am your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my buddy Jason. How's it going, dude?
Yo, pretty good. How are you?
I'm adjusting to this fall weather.
Well, I mean, it's like 90 degrees today.
Well, I meant like the couple days we had where it was in the 70s and everything.
Yeah, Hermine wind blownness.
Yeah.
Well, don't get used to that.
No.
92 by the end of the week, so,
Well, we're here to wrap up college football, the top 25 from week one. For people that usually complain that week one is not exciting, you were not let down this week.
Yeah, they've changed their format of their scheduling. Because if you remember, it used to be like teams like Florida State would play like Southwestern Alabama Tech University or something, and it doesn't happen anymore in college football. With the playoff and everything now, and I guess there's so much money in television now that they get like you get one versus like sevens and twos versus nines in the first week.
And I was going to say the other thing is you're not going to see in the next few years any more Appalachia State, playing ranked teams. Like they're not going to have Division 2s against Division 1s anymore.
Well, App State might because they're like
competitive.
They're a tweener in my opinion. Like they can beat a lot of Division 1 teams. Like they've proven. Oh, they almost beat number 9 on the other night.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll get to that though, obviously.
Absolutely. We're going to go over everything. So I figure, excuse me, we'll start off with number 25, Florida, playing UMass.
Yeah, that turned into that was a 3-quarter battle, and then Florida's, talent just took it over and won. What was the 24-7 was the final, yes. Florida.
And they were saying that UMass kind of hung with them, and it was like an ugly win.
Yeah, it was 3 quarters of ugly. I mean, Florida was a 34.5-point favorite. Ooh. At home in the swamp down there, or Tallahassee, I believe, is where they play their games.
Yeah.
And they didn't show up for about 3 quarters. They really didn't. And then finally, that quarterback they had kind of came alive late. Their kicker had a great game, by the way. He nailed 3 41, 49, 48-yard field goals. So
yeah, the quarterback you're referring to is Luke Del Rio.
Yeah, Luke Del Rio. I think. Let me see. He finished with 256, 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
29 of 44. That's all they made. Their running game. They rushed for I think just over 100 yards. And in college football, running backs they can go for combined 300 yards some weeks. College football is a wide open game. That's me and Candace were discussing it the other night, and college football is more exciting than the NFL, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. From first quarter to fourth quarter, I think college football, and it's the atmosphere, but yeah, that game could have been a disaster for Florida, but they turned it on late.
Oh, absolutely. I actually tried to dig up a stat for UMass, and the only one I could find was one of their wideouts. Andy Isabella had a good game where he had 3 catches for 95 yards.
Yeah, Isabella, number 23. Yeah, 53 yards was his longest catch of the game, so he got over half of that in 1 catch. They just didn't have a very good game moving the ball at all.
No.
Like, their offense was, what's the word, stagnant, I guess would be the word you're looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't do too well. I mean, their quarterback got sacked 4 times. He was under pressure a lot, so,
That doesn't, bode well for success.
Yeah, I mean, their punter had a 56-yard punt. Does that count for anything? Yeah, that game wasn't very exciting until, not at all, honestly. I would just say that game just wasn't exciting at all.
All right, next we had number 24, Oregon against UC Davis.
Another game that, I thought there for a little bit, UC Davis was, hanging with them. The whole first quarter, I think it was 8-7 at the end of the first quarter.
Yes.
Because Oregon goes for 2 like every time they score for some reason. And that game ended up kind of, not being the blowout. It was 53-28, but it could have been
a lot worse.
Ugly from the start. But what's his name? Oregon's quarterback, Dakota Prukop, I believe his name is.
Yeah, 271 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a decent game. They kind of shut it down late. UC Davis's quarterback had a good game through the air too. He had over 300.
Yes, and his main target was Keelan Doss, who had 7 catches for $116.
Yeah, and if you put it together, like we were just saying a second ago, Oregon ran the ball for well over 200 yards too. So they put up like 500 total yards.
Well, that's really the Pac-12 in general,
Oh God, they're wide open. And let me see. Oregon went into that game. I'm trying to find the line on it. I like to give the line. Why not? They were 47.5-point favorites. So they did not cover either against UC Davis.
If you're if you bet on them to not cover, you're happy.
Yeah. So that was kind of one of your, layups to start the season. There was a few of them. Like, we'll get into another one in a second. That was a total layup.
Yes, we're going to go to it right now, which was number 23 Baylor against Northwestern State.
Yeah, Baylor against Northwestern State. Baylor with their new quarterback because the other kid transferred out in July, Jared Stidham, which is funny because,
Yeah.
we share the same name, but...
Yeah. And Seth Russell had a layup with 163 yards and 4 touchdowns.
And I don't think he played like the second half, did he?
No.
Because he only attempted 20 passes. Another team, Baylor, rushed for like 200 and something yards. They actually had, if you look at their stats, dude, 97, 72, 68. They had a 3-headed running machine going. So that game was not a good game.
No, that was the layup we were just talking about.
Funny thing is, 48-point win, did not cover. They were a 49.5-point favorite. So there you go. That's a layup, and then we'll be getting into another layup.
Yeah, here we go. Number 21, Oklahoma State against Southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah, that game was, 31-7 at the half. So you're thinking, maybe not so bad, but then they outscored them 30-0 in the second half.
Well, they recovered 4 fumbles in that game.
Yeah. And there you go. There's points off of turnovers for you. That'll bury a team like Southeastern Louisiana. I've never even heard of the school, but that's funny. Oklahoma State was a 49-point favorite, so they actually covered.
Nice. There's nothing really. The only other thing I would say is Mason Rudolph threw for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns, but that's a footnote.
Yeah, because they ran the ball well, but they did it with like 5 different running backs. They ran the ball they literally have 42, 33, 28, 21, 18, and 17-yard rushers. And then on the receiving end, they had like 12 guys catch balls.
Yeah.
So
they must crazy.
Yeah, they must just be cycling guys out. These games there's really not much that you can say about them.
No, not at all.
They're to give you $1 million to come to our stadium and play us games. That's all they are.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We had another ugly one. Number 19, Louisville against Charlotte.
Yeah, Louisville 38.5-point favorites. I believe that was the Thursday night game too. Or am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay, 56-0 at the half. Not much there either.
The only thing I'll bring up is Lamar Jackson, 8 total touchdowns.
Yeah, that's worth bringing up.
So I was just like, wow. But then I looked at who they played, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you see his numbers, though? He rushed for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he passed for 286 and 6 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah. So he definitely is a dual threat. Yeah, he is definitely a dual threat. So we'll see. Right. We'll see about him.
Yeah. Moving on, we actually had a good one here. Number 18, Georgia against number 22, North Carolina.
Yeah. Georgia covered in that one. Was it 33-24? Georgia wins.
Yes.
That Chubb kid, man.
32 carries, 222 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yep, a 55-yard run. He had a day. Let's put it like this. If Chubb isn't in that game, North Carolina wins. Georgia's not beating them without that guy on the field.
Well, I was going to say, it's basically Chubb announcing, hey, I'm healthy.
Yes. Yeah, if he keeps running like that. And he didn't run against a bad team either. It's not like he beat, Northwestern State or somebody. He beat a ranked team. They beat the number 22 team in the country on the road with a major performance from him.
I always have to say Georgia always usually finds really good running backs.
Absolutely. You can go all the way back to Terrell Davis went to Georgia. He had an injury-filled career there, but he ended up, 2-time Super Bowl MVP or something?
Yeah.
Split one with Elway? Yeah. So they definitely know how to find guys that can run the ball.
Absolutely. T.J. Logan for North Carolina had a good game. 6 catches, 80 yards.
Yeah, that's a pretty good game.
Well, I was trying to look for interesting stats, and that's the only one that kind of popped out.
Yeah. That was probably the 3rd best game of the week, I'll say.
Yeah.
As far as competitiveness and everything goes, and star power goes, I'll give it probably 3rd because there was 2 other games that were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next we have number 17 Iowa versus Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, that was what was it? The dude from, I think that was the running back, right, from Iowa had a huge game.
Yeah,
or they had. Oh, you were telling me about them. Yeah, they had 2 guys that put 200 yards combined.
Yeah.
And 4 touchdowns.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But you were saying, I remember the exact thing you told me. You're like, let's see them do it against competition because Miami of Ohio's defense is not really that good.
Yeah, they're not gonna stop a decent running game at all. Like it's not gonna happen.
I've always liked Iowa recently because they seem to kind of hang around there in the top 5 or the top 10 the last few years.
Yeah, Iowa's always going to put a decent team on the field. They're in a pretty tough conference too. The Big Ten or whatever it is now. But yeah, they're definitely going to field a competitive team.
Absolutely. Next, we get an upset. Number 16, UCLA versus Texas A&M.
Yep. Not an upset, by the way.
Okay.
Texas A&M was actually the favorite by 5 points.
Wow.
Yep. That was the line going in, had Texas A&M favored.
Well, Josh Rosen had a good game. He threw for 343 yards, but he threw 3 picks.
Yeah, he also got sacked 5 times.
That too.
Yeah, that didn't help him any.
And Trevor Knight for A&M had 3 total touchdowns and threw for 240 yards.
Yeah, added another 31 rushing. No sacks, didn't get sacked at all, so that's always a positive. This was a good game. Was it an overtime game, too?
Yes, it was exciting.
Yes, that probably... I'll put that up there, actually, as the 3rd best game, because I think it was better than the previous game that I said was number 3, which was... Oh, why am I drawing a blank already? Oh, Georgia and North Carolina. It was better than Georgia and North Carolina, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it was an exciting game, I think, and it was the shock of a ranked team losing.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really it didn't shock me. Like UCLA is not a top 20 team in my opinion. I just don't think they are.
Right, I understand what you're saying.
I don't think they are, and I think we'll get into it a little bit later. I think there's a couple other teams that are probably ranked a little too high.
Yes, I remember you telling me this.
Yeah.
All right, well, us discussing this, I should say.
Yeah.
All right, next we had number 14, Washington against Rutgers.
Not a game at all. Rutgers traveling all the way across country for some reason. I guess they're getting paid well by Washington to do it. But they got spanked 48.
It was close for the first half.
No, it wasn't. It was 34-3 at the half.
Oh, I'm mistaken then, because I had looked at it at one point and it was fairly close.
No, it was 24-0 at the end of the first quarter, so it wasn't close.
Then I must have looked way early.
Yeah, like the first minute of the game. Rutgers actually scored 10 garbage points. It was 48-3, and then Rutgers put in a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Well, a touchdown and then a field goal in the fourth quarter, and it didn't really matter at that point. It was like the game had been decided.
Yeah, I almost kind of felt bad for Rutgers, you know?
Yeah, that was one of those games where I don't see the reason why a team from New Jersey is playing a team from Washington State.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
I know what you're saying. The other problem they had is they had a lot of turnovers in this game, Rutgers.
Yeah, they're just not a good team. Like, they're not the old Greg Schiano Rutgers teams or whatever. Yeah, they're just not. Penalties, turnovers, they're just not a good team.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, moving on. We had a shootout next. Number 13, TCU against South Dakota State.
This game was surprisingly close. This was the game that I was like, wow, because it was 24-24 at the half.
Yeah.
And then TCU kind of pulled away. Fourth quarter, they outscored them 14-3. But, man, at one point it was, 17-7 South Dakota State.
Yeah.
And I was getting shocked. Like, I was like, is this gonna happen? And then Kenny Hill just kind of took over for TCU. It was like, you know.
Yeah, he finished with 440 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yep. His one receiver had 158 receiving, Taj Williams. So they finally woke up. Like, I think they just maybe underestimated South Dakota State, and they were 35-point favorites. It shouldn't have been a game at all. But to be tied at the half kind of surprised me. Yeah,
Jake Wenke for South Dakota State had a big game. 8 receptions, 196 yards.
Yeah, so the TCU might want to get their secondary.
Yeah, get it going.
Yeah, they might want to get their secondary and intact, or they're in trouble, because the Goater dude actually almost had 100-yard receiving and a touchdown too for South Dakota State.
Well, there you go.
That game could have been bad.
Oh yeah. Next we had number 12 Michigan State against Furman.
Oh wow, Furman. Listen, that was only a 15-point game. 15-point win, 28-13 for Michigan State. They were a 38-point favorite.
I know. I was shocked by this score.
Yeah, that game was 21-13 until 5 minutes left in the game, and then Michigan State scored another touchdown. Tyler O'Connor hit Jamal Lyles for a touchdown with 5 minutes left, and they finally like put it away, which they should have done very early.
Yeah, I agree. I was just like, first I had to find out who Furman was.
Yeah, that usually helps because they're not the kind of team that's gonna, usually play with teams like that. Like they play teams like Citadel and Chattanooga and one I'm going to name that I bet you've never heard of, Kennesaw State.
No.
Wofford, Mercer. Yeah, Furman is not the kind of team.
I'm familiar with those schools through basketball, not football.
Yeah.
But it was just an ugly, grind them out kind of win.
Yeah, Michigan State finally just put them away late, and
because
hopefully
Tyler O'Connor did not have an exciting day.
No, nobody really did for Michigan State. O'Connor was 13 of 18, 190, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But he threw an interception. He got sacked a couple of times, but they just they didn't play as well as they should have for a team that was ranked
number 12.
Number 12 and a 38-point favorite. That was a major letdown for them. So they might want to get back and regroup and come back next week.
Yes. All right, now here's one of the more exciting games of the week. Number 9, Tennessee against App State.
You skipped a game. You skipped number 10.
Oh, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. Because I had it on the other page.
Okay.
Number 10, Notre Dame and Texas.
Yeah, definitely the game of the week. One that I'm not too happy with the outcome, but it was a big, big game. Exciting, just all around, it definitely was it was the Sunday night primetime game on ABC, and it lived up to its time slot. Yeah, it lived up to its time slot. It was the game of the week easily. No, there's no doubt. I don't think anybody would doubt that.
No, I mean, when you have the Sunday night game, it's usually they put you to be the game of the week, and it delivered.
Yeah, it delivered for sure. It was the biggest game of the week. It was a fantastic game.
Kaiser had his coming out party.
I wouldn't say that. His coming out party was last year. He had a great year last year with Notre Dame.
Well, maybe I should say put to rest that he's the unquestioned starter now.
Yeah, he should be getting the ball every play for Notre Dame. I mean, Zaire, it sucks that he lost his job basically because of injury, but
it happens.
There's a definite gap in talent there. Kaiser had 5 touchdown passes and
6
one
total.
rushing. Yeah, 1 rushing, 5. 77 yards rushing, 215 in the air. No interceptions, but
I gotta tell you, this Buechel, is that how you say his name for Texas? The
quarterback Buechele.
Buechele, excuse me.
Yeah. His dad is Steve Buechele, the former St. Louis Cardinals player.
Oh, okay. I said for being a freshman, he really showed a lot of poise back there.
Yeah, he looked early. I thought he missed. He didn't connect on. They could have put Notre Dame down a lot early, man. He missed a couple wide open guys. One of his receivers dropped a wide open pass. And Notre Dame hung around almost because they were allowed to hang around.
Right.
Because I thought if that Buechele kid would have nailed a couple passes, that game could have been a 3-4 touchdown lead for them early. Notre Dame.
Go ahead.
Good.
I was going to say, I've never seen a game where Texas takes the lead to try to go up 3 on an extra point that gets blocked, and they run it back for 2 to tie the game.
Yeah, that was crazy. I can't remember that ever happening.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, I cannot remember that happening. And the dude blocked it, and the ball just popped right into the defensive back's hand, and he was gone. No shot.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, Texas just that they played. They're better than they're unranked, but I'm pretty
Not
sure
anymore.
I'm pretty sure they're ranked now, right?
Yes.
Are they?
Yes.
Because I'm looking at the AP Top 25 and I don't see them.
Because I had just looked at it.
Oh, they're number 11.
Yes.
Holy cow! They went from unranked to number 11.
Yeah, I saw
Wow.
that. I was like, wow.
Wow. That's insane.
The other kid that impressed me was, I can't remember his name, but they would bring him in the goal line, the other quarterback for Texas.
Oh, 1 second. What the heck is his name? I'll look it up here for you. Swoops. Tyrone
he's
Swoops.
huge.
Yeah, like 260, 250, 260.
Well, you saw what happened to that poor Notre Dame guy that hit him.
Yeah, Notre Dame can't tackle. Their defense is bad. Their defensive coordinator should have been fired after last year.
I remember this.
Yeah, Brian Van Gorder. He should have been going after last year, but what are you going to do? Notre Dame, and I think I told Candace, I said it's going to be a shootout. If one of these teams wins, it's going to be in the 40s. I said like 45-42 or something, and it ended up being 50-47, so the overtime made it go over what I predicted.
But such an exciting game.
Absolutely. You're gonna have trouble finding a better game than that all year, in my opinion. A double OT 50-47 game. 3,000 people or something were there.
Yeah.
That Notre Dame was set up to lose that game. I'm not saying that they were like put in a position to lose, but they thumped. What was it, 42-6 last year? They thumped Texas and Notre Dame in South Bend. This year, Notre Dame's come 15 out of their 22 starters are new, and it matched up to where there was an upset to be had. They were only favored by 3.5 points too, the Irish. So
yeah,
but game of the week, no doubt about it in my mind.
Well, and everyone has said that Texas would surprise some people because of how much better they were with talent this year. Yeah,
they're definitely a lot more talented than they were last year. They're gonna finish. I think they'll get a big bowl this year. I think they're good enough. To be honest with you.
Well, considering in the conference they're in.
Yeah, they're gonna have like, let me look at their schedule real quick. Cal they have coming up, UTEP, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. Baylor.
The big Red River rivalry.
Yep. That is on October 8th.
That'll be a fun game.
Then they finish with TCU, who is another ranked team. They have Baylor. So it's going to be a good, probably about 3 or 4 pretty big games for Texas that you might see on television.
Yeah. But like you said, game of the week, nowhere even close.
Yeah, no doubt, bar none. There's no disputing it, in my opinion.
All right, next. Number 9, Tennessee versus App State.
Another underwhelmingly good game, if you get what I'm saying, because it wasn't high scoring, but it went to overtime. Appalachian State took them to overtime.
I felt so bad for their kicker because when I went to look up the stats for this game, that kid that missed that field goal and the extra point is a freshman.
Yeah, well, the good thing about it is he has a lot of time. The Rubino is who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Michael Rubino. He's got a lot of time in college to make up for it. But when you're Appalachian State beating Tennessee and Knoxville is a pretty big.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a game changer.
Yeah, this game wasn't very exciting. Like it really was not. I mean, like Tennessee was a 21.5 point favorite, so they definitely underwhelmed. To me, it just wasn't that great of a game.
Plus, I don't think Tennessee is really that good.
They're not. They're really not. I don't think they're the number 9 team in the country.
And when you think about it, they kind of lucked into this win where the quarterback dove to get in the end zone and fumbled, and it landed right in the other guy's lap.
Yeah, well, they actually went from number 9 down to 17, so
Ooh.
they fell down 8 spots this week.
That's a big drop.
Yeah, this game really wasn't. It was an overtime game, but it was very underwhelming. Appalachian State, I give them all the credit, dude. They executed. They ran the ball. Or was it? No. Yeah, they ran the ball a lot. They held possession of the ball a lot with their running game with Cox. And they almost won.
Day.
Yeah, they almost won. Like, if you look at the game stats and stuff, they rushed for 184 yards. They only threw for 108, Appalachian State. So they controlled the time of possession with their running game.
Yeah.
But Tennessee, I think you're going to see a better game out of them moving forward. I would hope for their sake. Do you know who they have next week? Oh, they have Virginia Tech next week. So that's not even a gimme.
That's the big Sunday night game, I think.
Yeah, Tennessee's not going to have a good season. I'm going to predict that right now because they still play Florida, Georgia, Texas A&M, Alabama, and they're all in back-to-back weeks. 4 straight weeks.
Do they have to play LSU, too?
No, they're not on their schedule.
Okay.
No, they're not. Yeah, they have. They play Ohio next, right? Oh no, they play Virginia Tech, then Ohio, the University of Ohio, not Ohio State, and then they play Florida, Georgia, Texas A&M, Alabama, and South Carolina 5 weeks in a row.
Jesus.
No bye week. Yes, there's a bye week.
Murderer's row.
Yeah, they get a bye week after Alabama destroys them. Yeah, that's rough. They're not going to have a good year. They'll be out of the top 25 in a month, easily.
Whew. All right, next we have number 8 Stanford versus Kansas State.
You know what? I thought this was going to be a higher scoring, much more competitive, good game than it turned out to be. It almost turned into a real good one. At one point, it was, 19-13 late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost, turned into a great game. Stanford covered. They were a 12.5-point favorite. They won by 13. It really wasn't, that exciting. The Ertz kid from Kansas State threw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know if he's related to Zach Ertz?
No idea. I know McCaffrey's kid had a good day.
Yeah, for Stanford?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 126 receiving. Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
Taking after his pops. 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a good day.
I said receiving. He's a running back. Sorry.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, rushing. He actually added 40 yards receiving, so he's also a receiving running back. He can catch the ball.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. It wasn't a very exciting game until the end. Just another game that, I thought had more potential than it ended up being.
It was kind of like blah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Moving on, we had number 7 Michigan against Hawaii.
Whew. Yeah. Not a game. I think we could agree on this one that this was probably the blowout of the week.
Yeah, pretty damn near close.
Yeah, at one point it was 56-0, and then give credit to Rigoberto Sanchez, Hawaii's kicker, 55-yard field goal.
At least to keep them off from getting a goose egg.
Yeah, Michigan just played everyone. I think they might have played professors from their college in that game. They literally played everybody, dude. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys run the football. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys catch a pass. So they used 3 quarterbacks. Spate just, it was such a blowout that Wilton Spate didn't have a chance to really play. And he's a big kid, by the way. That dude's 6'6", 243.
What? God damn.
But they definitely didn't have any competition in that game.
No.
Let me.
God.
Sorry, no, go. You got it. I'm gonna look up see who they play next week.
I was gonna say we could just move on.
Yeah, they play UCF next week. They're 35.5-point favorites already. The opening line on the game.
Jesus.
Yeah, Michigan doesn't play they play Penn State the 24th, so we'll see what happens there.
All right, this I think might be the blowout of the week. Number 6, Ohio State versus Bowling Green.
Yeah, let's just say that JT Barrett, is already wanting his name carved into the Heisman. Can we put it at that?
Yes.
349 yards passing and 6 touchdowns.
They had 776 total yards on offense.
Yeah, Barrett with 379 of them.
Whew.
Yeah, so 7 touchdowns, by the way. He added a rushing touchdown.
Jesus.
So that wasn't a game. Bowling Green, I mean, come on. That's Ohio State is like notorious, aren't they, for playing these layups?
Yes.
Who do they play next week? Tulsa.
Another layup.
They're 29-point favorites already out the gate on that one. Then they go to Oklahoma on the 17th, so we'll see there. That'll be one of our big games of the week.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Here was another good one. Number 5, LSU versus Wisconsin.
Yep. My opinion, would that be the upset of the week? Biggest egg laid? You agree?
Yeah.
12.5-point favorite loses?
Yeah, because Wisconsin wasn't even ranked.
No, they weren't ranked at all. Yeah, and they actually came back and won this game, didn't they?
Yes.
Well, they were up 6-0 at the half. LSU did not show up in the first half.
Yeah, they really didn't.
And the kid makes a 47-yard field, Gaglione or whatever, Gaglianone, Raphael.
Yeah.
That was a 47-yard field goal to win the game. Well, there was 4 minutes left in the game when he nailed it, but LSU's offense was not very good. That Fournette, obviously, Leonard Fournette, who was probably...
He was their whole offense.
Yeah, he had 138 yards receiving and another 38, or rushing and another 38 receiving. So what's that? 176?
Yeah.
So it basically, it was Leonard Fournette versus Wisconsin, and unfortunately Fournette couldn't beat him by himself.
No. Well, we had talked about this earlier in the week, last week, that LSU was too highly ranked anyway.
Yeah, I think LSU, Notre Dame, unfortunately, because I am a Notre Dame fan, Tennessee, there's a few teams in there that are just too high ranked. Like, they shouldn't have been top 10 teams. Maybe another team in a second we'll get into shouldn't even been ranked, but,
Yeah.
We'll see about TCU. Baylor is another team I'm not 100% sure.
I never trust Baylor.
Should have been ranked. Yeah, I'm not even sure they should have been ranked.
All right. Moving on. Last night, number 4, Florida State versus number 11, Ole Miss.
Yeah, Florida State, dude, you got to give them some credit. They came back. They were down, 28-6? 6 at one point, yeah. And that Decker, man, that guy is just a machine. What do you have, 6 field goals?
I believe so.
Yeah, let me see. They were from 25 yards, 21 yards, 40 yards, 40 yards, 44 yards, 30 yards. That kid won them a football game, 18 points. Well, he had more than 18 because he kicked extra points, too. He had, I'm going to tell you right now how many he had. He had 20 points. And they won by 11. So that kid's leg basically won them a football game last night.
Wow.
Good for them, but...
Well, it's funny because I was like, holy crap. 1 minute I looked up, it was like 28-6. And then I checked back maybe an hour later and they went ahead.
Well, that DeAndre Francois kid, man, he came up big last night. Like, really big. And I think he's
419 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yep, 3 total. He's and and I think he's a freshman, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, and he was getting hit too, man. Like he had 59 yards rushing as well to go on top of his 419 passing.
Yes.
That kid is definitely looking to be the freshman of the year. If he is a freshman, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I think he is. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's a freshman.
But that was very impressive because they came back basically from the dead.
Yeah, they were down, man. Like I was like, wow, Ole Miss is really going down there and putting a win on them, and it turned around.
I agree. All right, here we're going to talk about next the other surprise game of the week. Number 3, Oklahoma against number 15, Houston.
Yeah, this one turned into a pretty good win for Houston.
And for those that didn't watch this game, the score really doesn't indicate how badly Oklahoma was beaten.
That the second half, like Oklahoma scored late in the game, and then that's it. Oklahoma did not look very good.
No,
I'll put it like that. They did not look like number 3. They were right.
Yeah.
Their quarterback looked pretty good. The Mayfield kid, he had 323 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then Houston's quarterback had 321 and 2 touchdowns. So he kind of said I'll match that.
And then they had one of the crazier plays I've ever seen. With the field goal missed and the kid ran it back.
Yes. That would have been Brandon Wilson had the return.
Yeah, I think I've seen that maybe like 2 times.
Yeah, it was a 53-yard kick too.
I mean, I got to give it to him to have the hand-eye coordination to figure out where the ball is going to be and not go out of bounds.
And then running all the way back for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, good blocking too. You gotta give his special teams credit because they're technically a defensive unit and they set up a wall and he returned it back. So
I'm going to say this now. I think Houston is going to be a very dangerous team this year.
I can agree with that. I like them. I think they're a pretty solid football team down there.
Because if you remember last year, I believe it was them, they put a whooping on Temple.
Yeah, they're number 6 in the country right now, Houston.
Yes.
They were moved up.
They earned it.
Oh, absolutely. When you beat that caliber of football team, you deserve to go up. And they went up. They beat number 3. They went from 15 to what I say, 6?
Yes.
Yeah, so they earned it. They were a 13-point dog, and they won by 10, so they earned the win.
Yes.
And they made it. They made it happen.
All right, next. Number 2, Clemson versus Auburn.
This was another one of those. It was boring in my opinion. I don't. This is like Clemson had a lot of offense, but they just couldn't put the ball away a lot.
Auburn's defense kind of held them in there.
That bend but don't break stuff. Yeah, because.
What I was going to say, Mike Williams had a huge game for Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson had 399 yards of total offense, and Mike Williams, like you said, 9 catches for 174 yards.
Yeah.
But they almost got upset.
Yeah, it was really within an eyelash.
Yeah, because they scored the winning. No. They gave up the touchdown late. And then
almost gave up the game winner.
Yeah, Auburn almost went down and got it, didn't they?
Yes.
I didn't see a lot of this game, actually.
They had a couple shots at the end, but they couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that game was. It was not very exciting.
Yeah.
All right, now to save the best for last. Number 1, Alabama versus number 20, USC.
As I like to call it, the Jalen Hurts show. He did not do a lot, but he scored 4 touchdowns. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
A quarterback that only had a total of 50 yards, but 4 touchdowns.
When I think of this game, I think of what you told me.
What's that?
When you were out.
Oh, yeah. Somebody was saying something about the USC upsetting them or something, and I just laughed at the person.
Because they were up 3-0 early in the game.
Yeah, it was 3-0 USC. The person's like, "Oh, they're gonna upset Alabama," and I think they played the game in Dallas, right? It was actually played on a neutral field.
Yeah.
And the person's like, "They're gonna upset Alabama," and I just laughed at the person and walked away.
It's just amazing. We talk about Georgia with running backs. Alabama, same thing.
Alabama with everything, dude. It's not even running backs for them. They're just that good. You want to hear the crazy thing is they won 52-6 this week. They play Western Kentucky next week.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the thing is, USC, from a talent perspective, probably had one of the more talented rosters in college football.
I guess. I mean, it's hard to say. When you're playing Alabama, they have a tendency to make you look very talentless.
Oh, yeah.
Just because they're so good.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Now, since we finished that off, I was going to read off the new AP 25.
Sounds good.
All right, Alabama and Clemson stay at 1 and 2. Florida State moves up to 3.
Yeah.
Ohio State moves up to 4. Michigan to 5. Houston to 6. Stanford to 7. Washington's 8. Georgia 9. Here's a head scratcher for me. I like the win, but I don't think they should be this high. Wisconsin at 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early.
I know. I was just kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, they beat the number 5 team, so I guess they kind of have to move them up. But I don't think they should be that high after they weren't ranked last week.
Exactly.
Same with Texas. Texas beat number 10. Why are they number 11 now? They should be like 22, 23.
It'd be different if you, destroyed somebody, you know?
Yeah, make them earn that spot. Like I said, I think Notre Dame was overrated to begin with, so...
Yeah. All right, Texas is 11. Michigan State stayed at 12. Louisville moved up to 13. Oklahoma fell to 14.
Yeah, Oklahoma actually the first 0-1 team in the rankings, 14. They're the first team, the highest ranked 0-1 team.
Wow.
I'll put it like that, yeah.
All right, TCU fell to 15. Iowa moved up to 16. Tennessee, as you said, fell to 17. Yep. Notre Dame fell to 18. Ole Miss fell to 19.
Yeah, they're a pair of 0-1 teams.
Yeah, now this is where I thought Texas or Wisconsin should be, where Texas A&M comes in at number 20. Yeah,
that's fair. It's fair to say that, yeah.
LSU fell to 21. That's a hell of a fall.
Another 0-1 team. So what do you have, 4 0-1 teams in the top 25 right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Oklahoma State fell to 22. Baylor stayed at 23, Oregon stayed at 24, and the U, Miami of Florida, is 25.
Yeah, they won 70-3, but they beat Florida A&M, and now they're ranked. And now they play Florida Atlantic and then Appalachian State. So their schedule the first 3 weeks of the season is very, very weak. Very weird, very weak.
The one team to fall out of the top 25, UCLA, in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
looking
wanna-
at the votes. Miami got 20 more votes than Florida.
Yeah. Did you see somehow Clemson got 2 first-place votes? I don't understand that. Like, what did Alabama do to not deserve every single vote in the country?
Yeah, what did they not show you?
Exactly. It didn't make any sense that Clemson got 2 votes. Did you want to run through like some of the games next week real quick?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. How about I just pick out the ones that stand out, maybe?
Sure.
Let's see. There aren't many at all. This is a
know.
very weak lineup. Yeah, there's none. There's not. I can't find a game that really stands out. Like, I'll just run through the games for you real quick. All right.
Go ahead.
Well, since Notre Dame is my favorite team, there's up top for me. So Notre Dame plays Nevada at home. They're 28-point favorite already. Louisville at Syracuse, 14.5-point favorite. Georgia against Nicholls State, no line on that one yet. Michigan and UCF. Houston plays Lamar.
Oh, wow.
Oklahoma State against Central Michigan. Texas A&M against Prairie View A&M. Clemson against Troy, Florida State against Charleston Southern, Ohio State against Tulsa, Alabama against Western Kentucky, Baylor against SMU. That game right there could be that could have huge upset written all over it. I think that'll be my pick for the game to watch out. Now, Baylor's going to probably end up beating them by 50 points, but Wisconsin and Akron, Ole Miss and Wofford, Washington and Idaho, Miami, Florida University against Florida Atlantic, Oklahoma against Louisiana Monroe, TCU against Arkansas. That's another game right there. It actually might be the upset game. Arkansas is 1-0. Texas against UTEP. Iowa and Iowa State. Never know.
Yeah, you never know.
LSU and Jacksonville State. Tennessee and Virginia Tech. There's another one that could end up in a good game, and that's a night game too, Saturday night game. I think CBS has it or something. Oregon and Virginia. So that's your top 25 rundown of who they're playing this next week.
Yeah, that's very disappointing.
Yeah, it's not. The week after has we'll get to that one next week. The week after, week 3 has like 5 or 6 really good matchups. It'll be another week 1.
That's good. It's just I'm getting tired of all these teams wanting to, and like you said, Ohio State is notorious for it. Squash games, basically.
Yeah.
But, like you said, it's a big, money school saying, hey, come we'll pay you $1 million to let us kill you, basically.
Yeah.
But I think it's slowly starting to get out of college football.
It seems that, especially in week 1, they're starting to load week 1 up.
Yeah, because years before, dude, you and I remember week 1 was like unwatchable.
Yeah, there was like maybe one good matchup in week 1. Sorry, my phone keeps going off. I don't know if you hear it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like week 1 now. Like, they loaded it this week because they started a week before the NFL, too. So they had the whole weekend to schedule huge games.
Well, it's smart.
I wish they could do that. I wish they would do it every week. Every year, every week. You can't do it every week. But every year, I wish they would start the week before the NFL. And load up the schedule.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they're having the off week with the NFL coming up.
Yeah. That you actually may be right. That might be what happened. You might have nailed that one.
It was just a thought.
I think you actually might have nailed that one.
Okay. All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good shit. And we will see you back next time. Have a good day, everybody.